And here on the main stage, we have a presentation from the Dutch National Real Estate Agency. I see already our speakers. We have Stefan, Harry, Rob, and Patrick. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes,
You're
we
all
can
there.
hear you.
The stage is yours. You're going to be talking to us about migrating towards dedicated teams. We look forward to hearing your story. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in half an hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our lean friends. My name is Rob van Gorkum. I'm working for the Dutch Lean Institute. I'm co-hosted by my colleague Patrick, and we are hosting today two of our business friends, Stefan and Harry, from the Central Government Real Estate Agency. I do think we have a story about something that's happening right now, and it's about, I guess, a bold move that we are allowed to take a peek at in moving towards dedicated teams, in moving towards value stream management. To take you through and to prepare you on Stefan and Harry's story, we first show you a small video about the Central Government Real Estate Agency, and we take it from there. Have fun, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
We are the Central Government Real Estate Agency, the biggest real estate organization in the Netherlands, with some 83,000 hectares of land, almost 12 million square meters of buildings, and a wide variety of clients. We maintain and manage prisons, palaces, government offices, barracks, museums, courts, nature areas, and agricultural land. Our 2,900 employees range from technicians and architects to building engineers and real estate brokers, and from project managers to ecologists. Together we create environments that are inspiring, sustainable, and safe. Together with our partners in central government and elsewhere, we aim to use our land and buildings to help solve the issues facing society, like climate change and the energy transition, where we collaborate with the market and local partners to find local solutions. We're also making our real estate more sustainable. We renovate the buildings we own and refurbish them, wherever possible, with repurposed materials and green energy. That way, we're leading by example. We are partnering with the Ministry of Defense to overhaul and update their real estate and develop a future-proof portfolio. Buildings and land that no longer fit our purpose are sold and repurposed for the benefit of society, for instance as new homes. Our assets also include nature areas and agricultural land. We research ways of managing, using and conserving them sustainably, and look at how to reduce nitrogen emissions. At the Central Government Real Estate Agency, we try to balance clients' interest with those of society. Finding that balance makes our work challenging, exciting, and complex. We are the Central Government Real Estate Agency for a better Netherlands.
So, a small introduction of the Central Government Real Estate Agency. Maybe, Stefan, before we continue, could you give a small introduction of yourself for our audience today?
I can. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan Decher. I'm the head of a department, project realization. It's quite a large department of over 500 people across the Netherlands, and even a team in the Caribbean part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And a bit later in the presentation, a bit more about the tasks we are dealt with. And Well, if I'm not working, I like to play the bass.
Well, that's good for us to know. So, Harim, could you follow up maybe
sure.
a little on a short introduction of yourself?
Thank you, Rob. My name is Harry van Zomeren, and I'm working as an advisor. Before that, originally, I was a technical engineer, but I worked a lot of time in the business market in a corporate company. But for the last 7 years now for the central government. And I'm also coaching people, so I get much energy from getting a team started and up and running.
We'd like to hear a little bit about that, Harry. But before we continue, Stefan, could you describe the business unit that you two gentlemen are currently working in, the aim of the business unit, the magnitude of the business, and the work? What is the real work that you guys are working on a daily basis?
Yeah, I will. Well, the business unit we work at is called well, let's say real estate maintenance, and well, the name says it all. I could say, but it's about 1,200 people strong in total, and the areas of business are mainly centered around doing building projects and maintenance. And the maintenance is in all kinds of areas. So the planned preventative maintenance, some building improvement projects also. We do all kinds of inspections, not only to plan our maintenance, but also to make sure we're still up to code with all installations according to the Dutch laws. And of course, some form of daily maintenance in the form of well, repairs of malfunctions of installations. For that, we have a personnel existence of engineers, technicians, project managers, object managers, and all those people are situations all across the Netherlands. We have it divided in 5 regions, so geographically. And as I said earlier, even a 6th region in the Caribbean part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
How many buildings do you maintain on a year? How many buildings do you maintain? What's your responsibility? Can you give us a number?
It's about, I think it's always good to think about numbers. I think about 12,000 buildings.
Okay. So if you need to touch them on every 3 or 5 years, that's quite a number you need to deal on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
All right. That's great to know. Thank you, Stefan. Maybe, Harim, you already mentioned you like to work with teams and with people. Could you give us a little insight about the culture of your company and the type of people that civil servants tend to be at the central government real estate agency?
Yes, of course. It's very nice question because I came from the business market, and I found out that there were huge differences between business markets and government organizations. So we are spending tax money. That's what we do. So we have to do that in a very responsible way. And we can't throw it away. So what we do, we are accounted to spend the tax money very wise. So we are looking backwards. That's one of our principles, and we are less used to look forward. How to manage the organization, how to manage the production, and that's a challenge. Another thing is our culture. Real estate is solid as it is, but besides that, also civil servants are used to think about things, to document things very precise, but changing is some sort of challenge, you could say. So that's also an important ingredient in our challenge. Yeah. And also we have some form of a role model. because everybody looks to us. Everybody has to do something in the sustainability environment. But everybody looks specific to us, how we're dealing with that. So we have quite a high standard to keep there.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for giving us an insight in the culture and the magnitude and the work above all. But of course, we're not in the first place to talk about your culture. We're basically having this discussion because you guys are facing a challenge. Could you give us, Stefan, some insight in the challenge that you guys are facing at the moment, dealing with these 12,000 buildings in the Netherlands?
Yes, I will. Well, the challenge we are facing is that the main part of the challenge is that the workload we are facing is growing. Our clients, other government agencies who are working inside our buildings, have all kinds of demands and necessities, and the workload is much bigger than we can handle with our current organization. Already we have grown as a company, as an organization, from 2,000 to approximately 3,000 in the last 7 years. So that's quite a growth, and we still feel to be understaffed.
Maybe how come? I mean, I cannot imagine that the Dutch government is buying more buildings every year. So it's, I suppose, the amount of buildings is approximately 12,000, as you mentioned. So where does the additional work come? You increased your workforce by 50%. Where does the work come from?
Well, the work comes in part from new challenges. Sustainability, as for other tasks and other work that we are used to do.
Uh-huh.
Important part is also that in a lot of years we have not done enough in our maintenance. So
you have a backlog.
I have a backlog.
Yeah.
That has to do also with the Cold War when it ended, because then everybody thought, oh, the Ministry of Defense does not need too much money. So all the costs were cut, and now we have some inhaalslag.
Okay, so there's a backlog. There is even, we expect more from sustainability among else that you're requested to deal with. A problem. Now, what I always learned, especially in civil service, is like if the demand grows, you just expand your workforce. I do understand that was not an option for you guys. Maybe, Harry, can you share a little bit about your analysis about possibilities and maybe deficiencies within your organization that also shed a light on creating a strategy to deal with this challenge?
Yeah, sure. Well, we started with examining our chain. Our chain of production is very complex. It's long. It's via different business units. A lot of players in that, and due to that, there are a lot of handovers in the chain, a lot of waste in terms of lean. So one of the things was we have to get in control of the work. That's essential. Another thing is that with approximately 600 people working on projects, there are a lot of project teams, and for every new project there was a unique setup of the team, so a different composition. And that takes a lot of resource allocation to get the right people on the right project and changing that every time.
Uh-huh.
So there was, in lean terms, a lot of waste in our chain. And we already had some good experience with lean in separate projects. but never in a sort of complete scope. So that was our analysis.
Okay.
And getting from that, we developed some strategy. There are 4 big programs. I will not go into too much detail because 3 of those are out of scope for this session.
Yes.
But of course, we are not doing everything by ourselves. So going to the market, outsourcing is a very big part of it. We're also implementing a new application for maintenance management, and we are going to use new contracts. But for this session, of course, introducing value stream management and dedicated teams is what we really get into.
Okay, so this is for your main strategy, going horizontal and working together in dedicated teams and take control of your entire value stream. Maybe let's dwell a little bit more about that one. Stefan, could you share a light? I know you are a value stream champion. Could you share a little bit about the why and what you expect from this value stream management?
Well, a very important part of it is the fact that our organization is well, traditional in the sense that we're used to managing our organization vertically in silos instead of horizontally in value streams. And the result of that was part of what Harriet just told us. So that's a big part of the move we are making to go more to the end-to-end management of the chain. Very important also from push to pull, and we were quite used to start new projects and telling our clients that when we would start a new project instead of when we would finish it. So stop starting and start finishing.
Okay.
Also learning from our experiences and continuously improving ourselves and all the complete workforce being able to be work on continuous improvement is a very important part. And last but certainly not least, we experience very long project lead times, and that doesn't sit well with our clients.
And as I understand, especially the current or maybe the former siloed organization was not helping in reducing those lead times.
No, we were not able to reduce that in that form.
Okay, that's great. Well, but then value stream management is one. The other one, and it's also the title of this presentation, is also moving towards dedicated teams. What on earth and why? What do we mean by dedicated teams? And why? What is it solving for you guys? Maybe Heidi, you can share some light there.
Well, dedicated teams, in our opinion, will tick some boxes, and one of them is efficiency. I already mentioned allocating team members every time in a different way, so people don't know each other, have to be introduced, have to get working along. That takes a lot of time. So kept dedicated teams on a couple of projects that will absolutely reduce handovers and of course create flow in it. Also flexibility in terms of multifunctional collaboration. A lot of team members, if they're a technician, they say, okay, this is my part of the job. I'm a technician, I do the engineering, and the project manager, he runs the project. So there was not much flexibility in how to cooperate in that and to take over from each other and to feel responsible together with the other. So ownership, we together, let's say the 3 of us is running a dedicated team. Together we're responsible, we know what our goal is, we feel responsible, we take each other jobs, tasks over when somebody is ill or whatever. That were the main benefits that we expected from dedicated teams.
Sounds a little bit like agile teams. Could we compare dedicated teams with agile teams?
Yes, in a way. In the way of working, yes.
Okay.
Not exactly in the structure that is incorporated to Agile, because we have the classic waterfall method in how we deal with projects.
Okay.
But in the way of working, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, how did you approach this one? Because we're talking about some 50 teams that you guys envision in maybe the short or the long run. What was your approach to change?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because we have some things as civil servants. We tend to write things down in documentation, in plans, and expect it to happen automatically. Another thing is that when we introduce something, it tends to grow. We call it the cauliflower effect.
Okay.
Everybody has an opinion on it, wants to be evolved, and that doesn't always help. So we decided, okay, no big master plan and no big bang. We started with an introduction of value stream management to the board of management beginning last year. And after that, we decided, okay, we start with projects, we start with dedicated teams, and we start small. And when we start small, the teams will be enthusiastic and it will grow, it will develop automatically. That was the assumption that we had.
Okay, and so how did you, in the end, imagine I am in one of these supposedly to be dedicated teams. What did I experience being one of your guys within one of those 50 teams, supposedly to be 50 teams? How did you help us? How did you facilitate the change? So what did your rollout look like?
Yeah, what we did is we arrange in every region one or two at least dedicated teams, especially for projects. So we organized at first a design workshop from 3 days with that was for guys from all over the regions, and we took them with us in the way dedicated teams should work in work stream management, and we did some road shows after that in the regions. We let them make their own flow boards, and we expected, okay, when we do this, they have the freedom to develop it themselves from there, to manage the teams, to do the stand-ups, the board meetings. And when we do that, we also incorporated a trainer aspect in those workshops and roadshows. We expected it to grow automatically. A little bit naive, but I can say that from now. But that was our approach.
Okay, so what happened? What was the result? Because it sounds like we just throw in a couple of, we involve people, we throw in some workshops, we give you a small trainer. Now you know everything, get going. What did you achieve? What was the result of this approach?
Yeah, well, the enthusiasm was really there. That was very nice to see. People really want to join it. We also did some survey to ask them after a couple of times how they experienced it, and the majority of them was absolutely positive about this movement. So that was very nice. But they also were not quite able to overcome the first problems by themselves. So they faced some problems in how to use the flow boards and how to get along with the problems that they could not solve themselves within the team. And that's the majority of the things that they have to deal with. So they also spent a lot of discussion about the right composition of the teams. So how much technicians, how much project leaders, etc., etc. But how to get it working, that was absolutely not much given attention. Mm-hmm. And we from the management did not give them enough strict guidelines about the structure, about the way of working and the support. So also the local management was resilient, but also a little bit waiting for instruction. So as a result, the organic growth that we expected did not quite take place, unfortunately.
Because basically you expected, you took this kind of action last summer 22, and by the end of last year, you basically expected there would be approximately 50 dedicated teams in action.
Yes.
That was the thinking. So that didn't quite happen, but although teams were in action, maybe good to also discuss it. There were initial goals. You just shared with us, it's about efficiency, it's about collaboration and multifunctional collaboration, and it's about ownership. If we take those specific goals, can you share with us what happened? Did you at least, the teams that got going, did they experience these positive effects?
Partly, yes. In terms of efficiency, yes, absolutely. The resource allocation problem was almost completely solved. Continuous learning within the team was okay, but between the teams was just limited. The multifunctional collaboration was moi.
Why? So what happened? Yes.
Yeah, some people naturally are willing to look over their own wall, but others did that less. So they needed help, absolutely. That's one conclusion. And in terms of ownership, we did not give them strict goals or guidelines, and that was also the reason that the ownership, the self-steering of the teams did not quite took off.
Okay.
But there was enough result to show us as management, but also the people who were dealing with this, to show us that there's something here.
Yeah.
Needed further exploration.
Yeah, it's not all bad. That's good to hear, and also so keep the faith for everyone who's intending to make a similar move. But as you described, Stefan, it's about there was a moderate success. However, we were not, or you guys were not, reaping the full benefits. What are the current countermeasures that you envision to cope with these, let's say, mediocre setbacks?
Well, it is interesting that you asked that in the present tense.
Yeah,
because that's the truth. We're in the middle of this.
Okay, cool.
So that's a very interesting position to be in. And well, we went ahead to create some clarity on how the dedicated teams should be compositioned and how they should work.
So no more freedom. It's just, guys, we know this is the way how it works, and in all regions, this is how we're going to do it. And you're not going to wait until the final answer is given. This is the final answer.
Final answer and the freedom within that final answer.
Right. Okay.
We're also going to provide support with a uniform floorboard so that we can work uniformly, and that will help to learn from each other.
Yeah.
That will go live in January next. And we are going to, we started already to train, to coach each team how to plan ahead.
I'm going to take over, Stefan, because we only have 60 seconds. I guess what is very good to know, you guys are starting to invest heavily in tailor-made coaching of each and every team and develop them in the multifunctional collaboration and in taking ownership. Gentlemen, thank you very much for sharing your ongoing trip. And as I understand, I need to give over and hand over, and that was it done.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roberto.